Hi, this is Mark from Success4. We're here at the Best You at London Olympia, having a really, really good event.
Hey guys, I am here with Kuumba. Kuumba is a personal development coach and she has an incredible model which I was lucky enough to experience yesterday. The model is called the Circle of One. So Kuumba, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us about your work.
Okay, so I'm a personal development coach. I teach and I am also an author. And my book has been the subject of what I teach. And the Circle of One is one of the concepts that I've developed. The idea is that I work with people to help them get a sense of who they really are and to take them on the journey that brings them to a realization of themselves. And the Circle of One is both a personal development tool, which helps them with the area of awareness, which is what we did. And the concept of the Circle of One is the idea that we come through three main stages. So that's self-awareness, we develop our self-determination, we then decide what we do as a consequence of knowing ourselves, and we actualize, we go to a point of self-actualization where we are the best of who we can possibly be. And for most of us, we're aspiring to that. Where a lot of us get stuck is that we think we've got the self-awareness thing on lock, and we don't. And we're very good at lying to ourselves and deluding ourselves. And so the Circle of One as a tool helps people to recognize what's going on with them.
Incredible. So how did it all begin? Where did it all come from? The Circle of One. I mean, yeah, where what's the beginnings, the origin story?
It's an interesting one, the origin story. I have been a practitioner, so I'm a Reiki master teacher as well as a coach. I combine the two to get the best from people. When I first started my practice, what I was aware of is that I was having conversations with clients and we were going through things that would support them and help them in moving along. But increasingly, clients were coming with what I deemed to be my stuff, in technical terms, and I was telling them the things that I probably should have been telling myself. In fact, absolutely should have been telling myself. And so what I was aware of was that I could park that for the session, but I needed to do something with this information. And I developed the model because all it requires is that if you pay attention to what's going on around you, you get to see yourself. It's like life holds up a mirror. The Circle of One's based on the idea that everyone and everything around us reflects a facet of us. So if you're surrounded by frustrating people, demanding people, controlling people, downright irritating people, those things are going on in you. Those things are going on in you. And it just holds up a mirror to us and it helps us to see ourselves more clearly, irrespective of what we want to believe. We just need to look around and see.
So this whole thing around personal development in particular, this whole happy clappy, jumping up and down, constantly, these whole motivation is one thing, but I think you've touched on a big point there where I know with the exercise you took me through yesterday and some of the stuff you mentioned there, a lot of it is actually reflections and seeing these parts of yourself that you almost don't want to believe are there or you don't want to see. How do you handle that conversation when it comes up with clients and being able to put that across in a way that you do? As I said, from my experience, I loved it, but tell us a little bit about more so that side of it rather than the usual happy clappy sort of thing that you see.
So I guess, and I would say this as a response most times, is that it's never about motivation for me. Motivation is me standing on the side and pushing you. What I strongly believe in is inspiration, that we are inspired, that we have spirit, source, life flowing through us. And when that is activated, for want of a better word, that's when we step up, we become our fullest selves. What I say to clients is we live our lives in the belief that it has to be hard, it has to be difficult, that people are awful and there aren't good things here for us. And I come from the space that says actually this is a joyful world. This is a world that's full of people who want more. They want what you want. They just don't necessarily have the tools. And that we are tapped into source. We're tapped into something bigger than ourselves that only wants what we want. It wants more of us. It wants us to show up. So whatever we call it, God, universe, spirit, source, life, whatever that is, we recognize that it's always reaching for our highest good. And when we allow it to, when we open ourselves to receive the sense of abundance, the sense of freedom, the sense of connection, that's when we become our very best selves. That's when we recognize that it's not something outside of us, it's not out there, it's actually in us. And when we recognize how powerful we are, that's what's activated. That's what causes us to be the best that we really can be, to remember who we really are, not who we've pretended to be or who people have told us we are.
That's awesome. And again, the fact that, you know, I've been fortunate enough to experience some of your work and realizing that it's not, you know, one of these 7 steps to X, Y, Z or whatever. It's the work is all about the person in front of you, and you've created these sort of models. So how, just to give, you know, people an understanding of how you work, how is it is it workshops, group coaching, is it online? How is it how is the Circle of One presented?
Okay, so at the moment it's available in the book form and it's available online. Okay. What I have been doing is I introduce it as part of the work that I do with clients on a one-to-one basis, and people follow a program of work with me, and programs can last anything from 3 to 9 months. The real transformational programs, they last 9 months, and I'm on that journey with people as things come up, as they ask questions of themselves, as they're challenged, as they're meeting challenges. I work with them through that, and I encourage and I support, and it sounds really cheesy, but I love the people that I work with. I don't mean as individuals in terms of personality. I mean I love who I know them to be, and that's where the difference is made. I also run retreats, and that energy comes into retreats. When you have a group gather together, that energy in the group, once it's clear that you're working from a space that says we are all so powerful and we have capacity for so much more, it lifts the energy and everybody gets the healing, for want of a better word. And I put it in air quotes simply because in my work there are lots of people who call themselves healers. We're only ever healing ourselves. However much we have the opportunity and the privilege to help other people, the work is being done on ourselves.
So with Success4, of course, our intention is to, you know, create a platform for safe self-development and moving away from the sort of guru culture, the sort of, you know, egotistical side of it. And something that we believe is love pulls whatever it touches to its highest potential. Hence the reason why connecting with your work was something that I felt personally, and I know so many people are going to benefit from. So how can people get in contact with you, Kuumba? Okay,
so you can go to my website, that's kuumbania.com. You can drop me an email, kuumba@kuumbania.com, and I really do mean that. An email that says, hi, heard about this, what do you do? I'm happy to do that, and I'm quite happy to give people time in terms of slots to have a short conversation. So they're really basic tools, but they connect directly to people. That's what I prefer.
Yep. So thank you so much for your time today. It's been absolutely awesome to get to know you. Obviously something we do podcasts, we do videos as well, so it'd be great to catch you on a podcast to go in a bit deeper about some of this work. But as I said, thank you very much for your time today, Kuumba. Thank you.